Hello everyone, welcome to the new series of Drishti IAS. I am Ritu and today we are going to discuss an important topic of science and technology, which is unknown facts about Chandrayaan. And as you all know that this topic is important from GS3 perspective. So before moving to the points of discussion, first of all we will discuss about that in today's lecture we are not just focusing on Chandrayaan 1, 2 and 3. We are also going to discuss about other moon missions and their journey. So moving to the points of discussion. So first of all, we will discuss about the news and then we will discuss about the Chandrayaan 1 and what is the involvement of APJ Abdul Kalam, and after that we will discuss about the Chandrayaan 2 that earlier it has involved Russia in it, and then we are going to discuss about that India's next moon mission and who is going to collaborate with India, and then we will discuss about the European missions and what is the involvement of European Space Agency in moon missions. And after that we are going to discuss about Japan, Israel and their moon missions, and after that we are going to discuss about practice question for prelims and mains. Moving to the next slide, which is news. So as you all know that on 24th of August, the lander of the Chandrayaan 3 mission is supposed to touch the moon surface, and that's why we are discussing this topic. And because of that, so many moon missions are also discovered, and we are going to discuss about many moon missions and what are their journey. So this is the brief news of today's class. Moving to the next slide. So what is next slide? So what is the involvement of APJ Abdul Kalam in Chandrayaan 1? So at that time when Chandrayaan 1 was going to be launched, at that time APJ Abdul Kalam was the president of India, and we all know that how scientific he was. So he visited ISRO office and he asked about the proceedings of the Chandrayaan 1 mission. And at that time the chairman of the ISRO has said that we are going to launch this mission that is going to give information about the moon. Then he asked that what is the evidence that you will collect from the moon surface? Then they said that we will take pictures from various instruments and the camera inserted on the moon mission. Then they said this is not enough. You need to insert an instrument that will give better evidence about the moon mission. So on his advice an instrument was launched and it was inserted on Chandrayaan 1 mission, and that has given the evidence of the moon and other climatic condition of the moon. So this is the brief about the Chandrayaan 1. Moving to the next slide, which is important facts about the Chandrayaan 2. So you all know that in Chandrayaan 2 there was one orbiter, one lander and one rover, and the name of the lander was Vikram and the name of the rover was Pragyan. But what we have discussed that Pragyan and Vikram both are indigenous in nature, but earlier it was not indigenous in nature. Earlier it was decided that this project is going to be launched in collaboration with Russia, but it didn't happen because there were many complaints reported against Russia's lander and rover. That's why India decided that it will pull out Russia from that project, and India decided that it will make its own indigenous lander and rover. So the project was supposed to be launched in 2011 and 12, but it was launched in 2019 because India was developing its own lander and rover. So this is important facts about Chandrayaan 2. Moving to the next slide. So next slide is about India's next moon mission. So you may wonder that India's next moon mission would be Chandrayaan 4, 5, 6. It can be, but before that there is another moon mission which is going to be launched by India and Japan, and the name of the mission is 𝐸𝐸𝐻. So this is an interesting fact about India and Japan. They are going to collaborate with a moon mission which is known as 𝐸𝐸𝐻. Moving to the next slide. So next slide is about Europe withdrew from Russia's Luna 25 due to Ukraine war. So recently we have discussed about that Luna 25 was crashed, and who has launched this Luna 25? So it is Russia's mission. But what is the involvement of European Space Agency here? So there were so many instruments like robotic involvement, navigation involvement has been sponsored by the European Space Agency, and it has also sponsored for the Luna 26 and 27 as well. But right now they are not going to collaborate with Russia because Russia has invaded war on Ukraine, and because of that European Space Agency has decided that they will not collaborate with Russia, and whatever the technology they are going to collaborate in the Russia Space Agency, they are going to collaborate with the NASA. So this is the brief development about the NASA and European Space Agency and their moon mission. Moving to the next slide. So next slide is about Japan-Israel landing bids were by private companies. So recently we have discussed about that what is the involvement of private companies in space agencies. So here we have two countries one is Japan and another is Israel. They had launched their private moon missions, and they are the only two countries who has launched their private moon missions. And right now we have 5 countries who has launched their moon missions. And what are the name of those countries? So the name is China, Israel, India, Japan and Russia. So this fact is very important from your prelims perspective. So be careful about this fact. And till far only China had succeeded in the moon mission. So this is brief about the today's lecture. We are going to discuss the practice question for prelims. So SLIM is the first moon mission of, so your options are Australia, Japan, South Korea and UAE. Moving to the mains question. So what is the mains question? Participation of the private sector will give rise to new innovations and technology in space sector. Discuss with region. So first of all, you have to give background of this thing. So we know that, Israel and Japan are 2 countries who had sent their private moon missions, and India is also planning to involve private sector in the space agency. So you can also discuss about that. Recently India had discussed about the involvement of private sector in G20 space economy meet, and India is also trying to involve private sector in its space agency programs. So this would be your intro part. Then coming to that, how they will develop the technology and advancement of technology with their involvement. Then we will discuss about that, how with the help of private sector we will going to further develop the science and technology in the space agency program. So you can discuss that, what are the advantages and challenges ahead of the private sector. So the advantages could be that there will be more transparency and accountability, because here not only one sector is playing, only not public sector is playing, private sector is also playing. So there will be more transparency. The second thing is that there will be more investment by the private sector, and because of that there will be more advancement in the technology. And the third thing is that harvesting talent pool, because public sector has a different kind of recruitment policy. If there will be the policy by the private sector, then they can pool talent from other countries and other sectors as well. So these are the advantages when private sector would be involved here. What are the challenges we have? So the first challenge is that, lack of coherent policy, because we are planning that, private sector should be involved, but, we don't have much bigger policy regarding that. The second thing is that, there should be problem with the public goods and social welfare, because public policies are designed for the social welfare. Maybe the private sector has not designed according to that. And the third thing is that monopolistic trend. So if there will be involvement of the private sector, there are chances that there will be monopolistic trend and one company will dominate all kind of the space agency. So that's it for today's lecture. I hope you like this lecture. If you have any queries related to this lecture, kindly ask in the comment section. Thank you.